Welcome to Lunch Break Reviews. I'm Bradley Butin, your self-proclaimed emperor of awesome, here to dive into the best and sometimes the worst of what's playing at the movies. Each week, I'll spotlight one big release and put it through the lunch break point system, rating everything from its main course to its leftover appeal. We'll cover a couple of reviews, the box office buzz, and my own take on whether this movie deserves a place in your lunch break lineup. All in about 30 minutes or less. For more reviews on TV shows and comics, check out our mini episodes on TikTok and YouTube throughout the week. Now, let's go ahead and get into it. Let's recap last week's top box office and then get into this week's movie that was voted on by you on the Tiki Talkies. The choice was between... Actually, there was no choice. It was going to be Red One because nothing else came out, really. So that is the winner. But let's talk about the top box office. In number 5, in box office last weekend, this is from the November 8th through November 10th. Smile 2 is still in there at 5.1 million in a total of 66 million. And it's been out for 4 weeks. The Wild Robot sitting at 6.6 million for last week, and it's made a total of 138 million, and it's been out for 7 weeks. In third place, The Best Christmas Pageant Ever. I heard this movie is super, super cute. I've been too busy. I wasn't able to get to it. I do want to see it, though. And it made 11 million. It's a total of 20 million, and it's been out for 1 week. Heretic. Now, that movie I did see, and you've probably watched or listened to that episode. Heretic made 11 million as well last week, and has also brought in 20 million tie. So really a tie for second and third. It's only been out for 1 week, and in the top spot again was Venom 3 at 16 million. It's made a total of 128 million. It's been out for 3 weeks now. I have seen 4 of the top 5 movies. So, we are talking about Red One. I have thoughts, you're going to hear them, but let's get into some movie information. This is released on November 15th, and the IMDb rating on this movie is a 6.9 out of 10, and it currently is sitting at about 21,000 reviews at the time of this recording. Rotten Tomatoes, the tomato meter has it at a 33%, and on the popcorn meter, an 89%. A quick synopsis of the movie is, after Santa Claus, codename Red One, is kidnapped, the North Pole's head of security, Dwayne Johnson, must team up with the world's most infamous bounty hunter, Chris Evans, in a globe-trotting, action-packed mission to save Christmas. This was directed by Jake Kasdan, written by Chris Morgan and Hiram Garcia. Main cast is Dwayne Johnson and Chris Evans. Dwayne The Rock Johnson, Chris Evans, Lucy Liu, J.K. Simmons, Bonnie Hunt, Christopher Hivju, think Tormund from Game of Thrones, Kiernan Shipka, and Mary Elizabeth Ellis. The critic consensus from Rotten Tomatoes on this movie is wrapped in a slick packaging, but wholly lacking in holiday magic. Red One is a ho-ho-hum action adventure. All right, let's see. Some user reviews. Here's my quick little disclaimer. These reviews are chosen based on title alone, and I haven't read them beforehand. So let's dive in together. Please excuse any mispronunciations as I read them exactly as it appears, punctuation quirks, and all. We're going to start with some bad reviews. This is dated the 12th of November and is a 1 out of 10 stars and is titled An Absolute Piss Take. Yes, piss take. I'm going to be using that word probably all week. It's not a piss take. Okay, let's dive in. Do not watch if you actually value your time. It's so bad. I'm actually offended someone made this movie and thought people would enjoy it. The movie's biggest issue lies in its tonal confusion. It doesn't quite commit to being a festive family film, nor does it work as a gripping action flick. Instead, Red One awkwardly swings between genres, creating a story that's hard to invest in and frustrating to watch. While a Christmas action movie sounds fun in theory, this one lacks both the charm and the adrenaline needed to pull it off. It's almost like a 5-year-old wrote the script, or probably AI. The Rock was actually insane to think making this movie would be a good idea. The biggest disappointment, however, was Chris Evans' performance. Whatever happened to him lately? He used to be charismatic, but it feels like he's lost his charm and doesn't bring the same energy that he's made his previous performances memorable. This film sure is another flop in his resume. The action sequences are equally uninspired, often feeling generic and poorly choreographed. The stunts lack the precision and excitement that could have made this a memorable holiday action film. Combined with a bland storyline, Red One feels like a missed opportunity. In the end, Red One is a disappointing addition to holiday movies, neither funny nor exciting enough to justify its premise. For fans of holiday classics or action-packed thrillers, this movie is best left unwatched. Okay, well, that was fun. So let's do another bad review. This is another 1 out of 10 dated the 7th of November and is titled 250 million production budget for what? Yeah. All right. Just get out of a screening in Red One. Oh boy, it was an absolute failure. Flat as hell and an absolute waste of time. If you've got nothing else to do, I still wouldn't recommend it, because what is going to happen is 30 minutes in, you're like, okay, there's some interesting things going on here. Let's see where this goes. 1 hour in, you'll be like, okay, this is a bit boring now and the jokes aren't funny. Can we pick it up, guys? Make it enjoyable. 1 hour and 20 minutes in, you'll be struggling to stay awake. And at around 1 hour and 40 minutes in, you'll be begging for the film to finish. Chris Evans, and good God almighty, he didn't even know what to do. Come up with something, damn it. Lucy Liu was just whatever. J.K. Simmons, well, at least he's jacked. Kieran Shipka understood the assignment. She at least tried something. Some stunning shots of her too. Where, and they, it's funny, The Rock wasn't in any of that, but that's okay. Where was the full energy amp of The Rock? The Rock, oh, there it is. Where was the full energy amp of The Rock? The Rock just letting loose on screen? The Rock just going full force? Full The Rock? The Rock just amping himself up across the screen. What an absolute letdown. Again, it's just flat as hell. Overall, an absolute slog of a time at the cinema. Okay, all right. Well, I actually agree with a lot of that one, but I'll get into more on that in a little bit later. Let's do another bad review. Okay, this is a 1 out of 10 dated on the 6th of November, and it is titled Ho Ho Ho, No No No. Shameless cash grab time. It's Christmas, so we need a Christmas film to cheer us up. But what we don't need is this below average waste of time. It's a total messy mess. I have no idea who the target audience would be. I surely would not take my kids to see it with the amount of violence on the screen. Maybe they thought throw every classic Christmas legend together and make it a Fast and Furious. It was no fun, no charm, no good. Remember that Christmas when you asked for a new bicycle but you got a pair of socks instead? This is the cinematic equivalent, and these socks are a little bit stinky. That's funny. That one's funny. Okay, I got one more bad review. Let's do it. All right, this is another 1 out of 10, and dated on the 10th of November, and this is titled Worse Than Anything Streaming. This is one of the worst movies I've ever sat through. The film makes a lot of weird and unnecessary choices, and I'd argue it doesn't feel Christmas related until the last 2 minutes. And the delivery is one of the most cringe inducing scenes. A lot of random swearing, very little Christmas mythos lore, but when they try it, it just misses. Obvious it was chopped to bits with sporadic cuts and inconsistent placing of CGI characters and actors. I used to think Evans was a decent actor, but the voice he's using is all over the place. Simmons is a very poorly crafted Santa, but even he's sleeping through it. I hate this movie. I hate how it made me feel while watching it. I hate how it's occupying space from another perfectly acceptable holiday movie. I hate continuing this awful movie machine of crap. There's no point in being original if you don't have a heart. Wow. All right, there's the bad. Can it get worse? I agree with some of this stuff, and I'll get into it, but we got to see the other side. We have to check out some good reviews. This is a 10 out of 10 and dated on the 8th of November and is titled, unironically, a Christmas classic. Warning, spoilers. I went in to hate watch this movie barely aware of the premise and with the expectations to just hate on Dwayne Johnson. But somehow, this movie captivated me with its ability to commit to an arguably stupid premise on paper and just run with it. Arguably, there's a layer of irony or parody that runs throughout the movie, whether it's the militarization and industrialization of the North Pole and borrowing concepts from Black Panther, the over-the-top stakes of having to save Christmas, Santa being a gym bro, and more. Most people might just shelve this movie as being a brow attempt at a Christmas action movie. It is exactly that. But when you can shelve all the goofiness that exists in the world of Red One aside and accept it for what it is legitimately a great film for the purposes of comedic film to watch with family and friends that can appreciate the absurdity of the world it has built for itself. I loved so many of the smaller elements of the film, including the unique characterization of Santa, something only J.K. Simmons could have pulled off. Additionally, it was great to see Lucy Liu doing what she does best, even though her character is a bit of a trope in itself. The plot is silly, I won't kid you, but the world building undertaken to try to accommodate for Santa's monumental task of delivering presents to every kid in the world made me invested. The motivation of Grilla, as well as unironically, contained one of the key elements of writing film that can make a good film great. That both protagonist and antagonist share the same goal, but have drastically different views on how to achieve this. The special and practical effects also contributed greatly to making the mythological elements of this film believable and, dare I say, captivating. As with every Christmas movie, there's always a message to be told, and the message of Red One is that even if one is surrounded by things, people, and situations that inevitably make someone bad, there's an inherent good that can be found in all of them. This is mainly explored through Chris Evans' character, and I think for the purposes of this film, they did a great job conveying the simple message across. All in all, I went in with zero expectations and was blown away in every facet. Will most people like this? Probably not. But I will not lie and say I did not enjoy this movie. It had all the elements I needed to enjoy a comedy movie: a humorous premise taken to an extreme, a convincing plot, and world building with good underlying message. This was the Christmas gift I had no idea I needed, and I generally be grateful that I got to see this and got to laugh with this movie too. I'm glad you liked it. Really glad. Let's get into some more good reviews. Okay, this is dated on the 10th or the 14th of November and is a 10 out of 10 and is titled The Best Christmas Action Film Warning, spoilers. I just saw Red One, and the cast was absolutely remarkable. J.K. Simmons as Santa was absolutely brilliant. He really made Santa more understanding about kids growing up and seeing the good in parents. Dwayne Johnson was really outstanding playing Callum Drift. His acting was so funny and very, very well done. Lucy Liu as the director for the locating Santa was so well respected. Her skills were so incredible. She hasn't done much action movies since the 2000s or years before. Bonnie Hunt as Miss Claus was very supportive for Santa. Chris Evans was so outstanding when he's not playing Captain America. He's playing a character who's trying to be a better person for his son and ex-wife. Kieran Shipka, who played Grilla, was the perfect villain for her. Her skills were so hilarious, and when she does her true form, I say that were really well done CGI. Krampus, I think they meant Krampus, Santa's brother, was so funny. The polar bear, he was so funny and had an eye for eye on Chris Evans. I hope there's Red 1 2, and Krampus in the Halloween universe, and the Headless Horseman in forming an alliance to change Christmas into a Halloween event. I hope Red 1 2 happens. Oh, good idea. Good idea. We'll see where that goes. I'm not quite sure. But you know what? They don't ask me. So, one more good review. This is a 10 out of 10 and dated on the 16th of November and is titled My New Jingle All the Way. Red One was an absolute delight. Watching it made me feel like a kid again, filled with wonder and excitement. The effects were impressive and well executed, regardless of what internet trolls might say. What truly stood out was the originality of the storyline. It brought something fresh and unexpected to the table. The movie blends heart, humor, and action in a way that keeps you engaged from the start to finish. Its world building and creative twists on classic themes make it a standout in its genre. This is a film that knows how to balance fun and creativity, and I highly recommend it to anyone looking for a great time. Some really original things from start to finish. I was engaged throughout most of the movie and only got bored a couple of times and left glowing with some Christmas joy. Screw the internet trolls. I agree at that part. Screw the internet trolls 100%. Okay. So we heard some good, we heard some bad. Let's take a look at the lunch break point system. Let's see where I put it. This will be with my thoughts as well. Okay. So the lunch break point system, I have 5 categories, and I'm going to give it up to 5 points for each category for a total of 25 points. But then I wanted to do something a little bit more, so I have a couple of additional 1-point categories, and I'll go over all of that. We're going to start with main course. How satisfying is the movie overall? For me, when I watched it, it wasn't very good. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't great. So I went kind of in the middle. Gave it a 3. And I think that's fair. I think a 3 is fair for this. Now, next is side dish. Supporting elements like cast, cinematography, do they add the right flavor? Man, this one I went and gave it a 2. I gave it a 2 just because I was not invested in the world that they built. I know there was a lot of people talking about it in the reviews, and they really liked it. I thought it was really, really predictable. I didn't think Chris Evans did a good job. I didn't think The Rock did a good job. And you know what? I didn't think they were good together as well. So I gave it a 2 on that. Spice level. Okay. Is this exciting or intense? This measures how much it keeps you hooked. For me, I gave it right in the middle again. I gave it a 3. I gave it a 3. Just because I wasn't really hooked, but I was still paying attention to it. So that was that. Leftover appeal. Would I watch it again, or does it fade away? I'm going to give this a 2 because I probably will watch it again with my kids because I know both of them, well, 2 of them, want to see it. So that was that. And last but certainly not least, the dessert. The extra special something that makes it memorable. With all of its flaws, it's a memorable movie. So for this, I had to give it a 4 in dessert. It looks pretty good. And you know what? It's fine. There is something about it that I'm going to remember. And that's why it got a 4 for dessert. With the extra points, if I can make up any ground on these, I got a snack factor. Was it quick, fun, easy to digest? I didn't give it a point for that. Lunch crowd, broad appeal for all audiences. I don't think so. I don't think so. And I think maybe if it came out a month from now, maybe it would be a different story, but it didn't. And break room talk sparks conversation long after viewing, and I don't think it will. So I didn't give it any extra points. And so this has a total of 14 points on the lunch break point system score sheet. So right now I have reviewed 2 movies. I have reviewed this and Heretic. And Heretic I gave 22 points out of 25. Red One is currently sitting at 14 points. So it's right there. It's got a little ways to go. That's okay though. But let's talk a little bit about my top 5 anticipations for this week. Number 1, there's 2 huge movies coming out. I haven't decided which one's going to be my main episode and which one's going to be a mini episode. But we got Gladiator 2 and Wicked coming out. Those are my 1 and number 2. Cobra Kai, the final episodes of Cobra Kai were released. I got to check that out. Dune Prophecy and Landman are all coming out or have come out today or this week. And I can't wait to get into all that. I got a ton of work to do. I don't know when I'm going to do any of this stuff, but I got to find time. Some upcoming releases for November 22nd. There's 3 bigger movies coming out. Gladiator, Wicked, like I just said. Gladiator 2, anyway. Wicked. And then Bonhoeffer, Pastor, Spy, Assassin. This looks like a really good movie, and I actually kind of want to see that. I think it's an Angel Studios movie. So now I got a couple questions for you. What movie are you most excited to see? Whether it's something that's in the theaters right now or coming to the theaters, where would you rank Red One on this week's Spotlight? If you were doing your lunch break point system, how many points would you get? Do you agree with my rating for the lunch break point system? And what movie do you think will win the box office race for next week? You can follow me on Facebook at Nerd Positive, YouTube at Nerd Positive 1, TikTok at Nerd Positive 1, or at movies.bs, and Instagram at the Fandemic 1. You can support me at buy me a coffee at buymeacoffee.com/nerdpositive or Patreon at patreon.com/nerdpositive. All right. That is a wrap on this week's Lunch Break Reviews. Thanks for tuning in and joining me, the self-proclaimed Emperor of Awesome, Bradley Butin. If you enjoyed today's dive into the box office hits and misses, don't forget to subscribe and leave a 5-star review so more people can find me. Catch our mini episodes throughout the week on TikTok and YouTube for all things TV and comics. Until next time, keep watching, keep reading, and keep being awesome. See you next Sunday, same time, same place, for another edition of Lunch Break Reviews.